Once Car of the Year as a innovative MPV, now Car of the Year as a standard crossover. Or is it more innovative than I think? My name is Bastiaan and welcome to Recharging. Yep, here it is, the new Renault Scenic E-Tech 100% electric. Please Renault, work on your names because this is terrible. But anyway, the new Renault Scenic. In terms of size, but also price, a competitor for the Kia Niro EV, Hyundai Kona and BYD Atto 3. The Renault Scenic is available with two drivetrains, a 60 kWh battery pack with enough power to do 0 to 100 in 8.6 seconds and a 87 kWh battery pack with enough power to do 0 to 100 in 7.9 seconds. Looking at the storage space, there is no frunk to be found, but we do find a bigger boot than in the Kia Niro EV. Because the boot can be pretty deep, as you can see, you have 545 liters with the seats up, and with the seats down you have 1670 liters. At the moment I don't have a flat floor, but there is an option to have a raised boot floor. Besides that, there is a pretty huge compartment here under me, and there is a 12-volt socket in here. And because the boot is pretty deep, you can fit at least a large suitcase and a stroller. Then the rear seats. The seat in front of me is in my typical driving position. I am 1 meter and 85 centimeters and I have plenty of space for my legs, plenty of space for my head. I can also shove my feet under the seat in front of me. Of course, the floor itself is a bit raised because there is a battery pack under there, but my legs aren't too high up. It's actually pretty okay in this car. Besides that, there is a flat floor and the car is wide, not the widest, but sitting here with three not too bulky adults should be fine. Then there are two USB-C ports, separate air vents, pockets here behind the seat to store whatever you want, and the biggest armrest that I have ever seen. It's absolutely massive. Under this armrest is an extra cubby, two USB-C ports, two cup holders, and there is this. And this is a holder for a phone or a tablet. So if I take my phone, I can just slide it in here and I don't have to hold it. The WLTP range of the 60 kWh battery pack is 430 kilometers. The 87 kWh battery pack that I am driving has a WLTP range of around 620 kilometers. So can it do that in the real world? Well, during my test period the weather has changed. It is currently 17 degrees Celsius with some rain, but I also had 25 degrees Celsius. But even during those 25 degrees Celsius days, I could not get the WLTP range with this car. More than 500 kilometers? Easy. More than 550 kilometers? Doable. But 620 kilometers? Ooh, no, I don't think you can get that. And for more details, watch my range test up here. Besides that, there are flippers behind the steering wheel to determine the amount of regeneration that the car should do when you lift your foot off the accelerator, but unfortunately there is no one pedal drive. And that brings me to more bad, but also good stuff in the good, the lovely, the bad and the ugly. Instead of developing their own infotainment system, Renault has gone for Android Automotive, just like Volvo. And personally, I am really happy with this decision. Because overall it works fast and intuitive, and you can even install apps from the Google Play Store. To work around the driving and safety systems that don't work well, but because of legislation turn on by default, Renault has come up with this button. In the infotainment system, I can configure exactly how I want my driving and safety systems to behave. I can also turn them off, and by two presses of this button, they are exactly how I want them to. This car has the optional Harman Kardon audio system. I am no audio expert, but in my opinion, it doesn't sound great. This is one of the most expensive versions that you can get, and I still have manual adjustable seats. What? The car has a 11 kilowatt onboard charger as standard. Fast charging can be done with a maximum of 130 kilowatts for the small battery pack and 150 kilowatts for the large battery pack. Charging both versions from 10 to 80% will take you around 35 to 40 minutes. The navigation software, which is Google Maps, does plan charging stops when your destination exceeds your range, and the car will precondition the battery when you navigate to a fast charger. I can be really short about the way this car drives, because it is just a really comfortable experience and there is nothing sporty about it. It just brings your family from A to B in all comfort. I mean, it is a French car, so it does make sense. Don't expect the ultra soft comfort that the French are known for though, because well, it is still an electric car, it has a higher weight and it has to cope with that. What helps with the comfort feeling though is the acceleration, because in some electric cars when you press the accelerator pedal you have instant power and it punches you forward, but in this car the power comes very gradual and it is very comfortable. I do like it. You have good seats. You also have plenty of adjustment in the seat and the steering wheel, so finding a good driving position is no problem in this car, and visibility all around, as with most modern cars, is not great. And if it had a tow hook, it may tow up to 1100 kilos. One thing to know though is that this car has front wheel drive, and electric cars with front wheel drive tend to have wheel spin when you floor the accelerator pedal. On a dry road this does not happen with this car, but on a wet road, yes, wheel spin. The interior of the Renault Scenic is a very pleasant place to be in. And what is very refreshing is that there are plenty of physical buttons. Under the infotainment screen is a cluster for your climate control. And where Tesla is removing all stalks, this Renault does not have 2 or 3, but 4 stalks on the steering column. One for your lights, one for your driving direction, one for your wipers and one for your audio. Combine that with all the buttons on the steering wheel and when you first get in, it is a bit overwhelming, but it is actually very nice to have this many physical buttons. What about cubby space then? Well, your door pockets do fit at least a 1 liter bottle. Then under the center armrest is a cubby. There is a small space here with 2 USB-C ports that you can cover with the center armrest. And in the center console there is a cup holder and even more storage space with dividers. And the glove box, if I can open it, is of a decent size. What is less good though is the position of the infotainment screen, because it is positioned quite low. And therefore, while driving, when you want to take a look at it, you really take your eyes off the road. I mean, there is a reason why most manufacturers stick their infotainment screen on top of the dashboard. It is, so while you're driving, your eyes are closer to the road, so it is safer. Yeah, it started to rain, so I am standing here as dry as possible. But anyway, how happy does the Renault Scenic make me? Does it make me sad, neutral, smile or grin? Well, the Renault Scenic makes me smile. It is just a comfortable family crossover that really doesn't do anything wrong. And that was the review of the Renault Scenic. Thank you a lot for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and then as always, to be continued.